Hello, mic test. Hello, good afternoon. Everyone, welcome to the 2022 Community-Based Monitoring System or CBMS press launch. I'm Gemma Tabao, Information Center Manager of the Philippine Information Agency, Leyte Provincial Office, your host and moderator for this afternoon. To start with, may we request everyone to please stand for the invocation and please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
soul rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. May it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. I love you, Lord, and I lift my rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. May it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. May it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Kayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyat ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo bugnaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa bagayang minamahal, ang isip ng matawag mo'y tagumpay na naniningning, may tuwid at araw niya kilan, mga di magdidilim, luwan ng araw ng malapit na sina, may langit sa piling mo. Aming tigaya ng magmay magkami, namatay ng dahil sa'yo.
To give us the welcome message, may we call in Ms. Wilma Perante, the Regional Director of the Philippine Statistics Authority. Ma'am?
Thank you, Ma'am Jem. Good day, everyone. Thank you. My respect to our Deputy National Statistician, Ma'am Minette Squibias, who is joining us online. Development partners, particularly to, of course, yung aking katabi, Regional Director from the ICT. We have Sir Felix Tabanao Jr. We also have NEDA, Regional Director, Ma'am Maylene Rosales, represented by Ms. Giselle Frances. Ito yung aming palaging suki. And we also have, who will be joining us on site, our Regional Director of the ICT, Attorney Arnaldo Escobar Jr. So to our local chief executives and other local government unit officials, media partners, nandito sa harap ngayon, other members of the Regional Statistics Committee, PSA officials and staff, other participants joining us on site and online. Ladies and gentlemen, maupay nga kulop, maayong hapon sa atong tanan. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 2022 Community-Based Monitoring System, or what we call CBMS, press launch. This is the first PSA-led CBMS. The CBMS Act, or Republic Act 11315, was signed into law in April 2019, instituting in every city and municipality as an economic and social tool towards the formulation and implementation of poverty alleviation and development programs, which are specific, targeted, and responsive to the basic needs of each sector of the community. Just this morning, the CBMS was formally launched at the national level. selected LGUs and national government agencies expressed their support and commitment to CBMS. Ang isang challenge na naibigay kanina ni Senator Win Gatchalian ay malink yung CBMS with the national ID. Saya natin, no? Our PSA National Statistician and Civil Registrar General, Sir Dennis S. Mapa, emphasized that CBMS will be the main source of non-income poverty statistics and comprehensive set of data. So, magkakaroon tayo ng CBMS database which will be lodged at the respective local government units. Ito yung maganda sa CBMS. Also, one of the indicators to be generated from CBMS is the Multinational Poverty Index, or what we call MPI. And this serves to complement the income-based measure of poverty. So kung mayroon tayong income-based like poverty incidence, which is an income-based, magkakaroon tayo ng multidimensional poverty index. The synchronized data collection for households starts today. So ito yung ating tatandaan, 8 August 2022. In Region 8, there are 90 LGUs out of 143 cities and municipalities, which is about 65% joined CBMS for 2022. So 60 municipalities are PSA funded and 30 cities and municipalities are LGU funded. So hindi ba tayo masaya dyan? So congratulations to Region 8. We are one of the regions with more than 50% participation rate. Diba? Masaya tayo. So hopefully for the next round of CBMS, 100% na tayo. Several local development indicators that capture various aspects of quality life in cities and municipalities will be gathered and generated, specifically on health, nutrition, housing, water and sanitation, basic education, income, employment, and peace and order. Further, CBMS promotes inclusive growth within cities and municipalities by providing a basis for equitable access to opportunities and services. Instead of being subjective in selecting projects based on the needs of the community, local planners and implementers can use CBMS data to properly prioritize, plan, and choose higher impact projects for the cities and municipalities as well as provinces. I hope all households ay lumahok in the 2022 CBMS. Kung may kakatukman sa ating mga pintuan, sana mabigyan natin ng oras para sagutin at maibigay ang tamang impormasyon. Rest assured, all the households and citizens, that the personal information shall be held under strict confidentiality. So yung may ID na PSA or yung may ID ng LGU at mayroon silang CBMS, no, sana mapagbigyan natin ng panahon. Now we take into account CBMS, time, additional motivation and inspiration for us. With your support and commitment, sana samahan nyo ang PSA to help us disseminate to all citizens to participate in CBMS. Alam ko nandyan yung ating media partners, yung ating development partners, na maging maayos po at lahat ay lumahok sa CBMS 2022 in the region. And we hope this will be a success in the conduct of the CBMS in the region. As Michael J. Schmoker said, things get done only if the data we gather can inform and inspire those in a position to make a difference. Lumahok tayo sa CBMS. Suwak na datos para sa komunidad na mas maayos. Tara na, tayo na at makiisa sa community-based monitoring system. CBMS, para sa atin ito. Muli, I welcome you all to the 2022 CBMS press launch. And thank you very much, everyone, and be safe always. God bless us all.
Thank you so much, Director Perante. This time, we hear the statement from the National Statistician and Civil Registrar General, no less than Yusek Claire Dennis Mapa. Take it away, sir.
To Senator Gatchalian, good morning, Senator, Governor Joet Garcia of the province of Bataan, our partners from the Department of the Interior and Local Government, DILG, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, the media partners, and everyone joining us on-site and virtually. Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Thank you very much for joining us today as we celebrate the launch of the latest mandate of the Philippine Statistics Authority, the Community-Based Monitoring System or the CBMS. Arangkada nga ngayong araw na ito, Lunes, Agosto 8, 2022, ang Community-Based Monitoring System sa humigit kumulang 6 syudad at munisipyo sa ating bansa. This is the first Philippine Statistics Authority-led rollout of the community-based monitoring system, an event that will change the course and local governance. Amidst the health and economic crisis that the country faces these days, it is very important that our national and local policymakers use accurate, comprehensive, and updated data as basis for projects and programs that they propose. First, through the community-based monitoring system, a comprehensive set of data will be collected from households in participating cities and municipalities. Information to be gathered include the demographic characteristics and various aspects of life and living conditions of households and families in the country, their educational background, sources of income, health conditions and disabilities, community participation, water, sanitation and hygiene practices, agricultural and fisheries activities, food consumption expenditure, financial inclusion, membership in social protection programs, structure and materials of their dwelling units, and disaster preparedness practices, among others. This is one of the goals of the community-based monitoring system, to know the realities in each community. These types of information help form a picture of each community, the kind of government interventions needed, and the households and individuals most needing assistance. Bawat syudad at munisipalidad ay matutukoy ang pangunahing pangangailangan at maibibigay ang kaukulang serbisyo sa mga mamamayan. Second, local and national government agencies that offer social protection will be able to beneficiaries. Bawat nangangailangan ay mabibigyan ng prioridad pagdating sa pagbigay ng tulong pinansyal, pangkabuhayan, pangkalusugan at iba pa base sa datos na manggagaling sa community-based monitoring system.
As you said, moving on, Ms. Minerva Eloisa Esquiavas, the PSA Deputy National Statistician, will share with us the information on the 2022 CBMS.
Ang CBMS o ang Community-Based Monitoring System ay ang pagkalap ng mga pangsambahayang impormasyon sa bawat lungsod at munisipalidad. Ang mga datos na makukuha ay makakatulong sa paggawa ng mga programa at polisiya na aangkop sa pangangailangan ng bawat isang Pilipino. Hangarin nitong maitaas ang antas ng pamumuhay, magkaroon ng sapat na trabaho, at mas pinabuting kalidad ng buhay para sa lahat. Dahil sa mga ating bansa na magkaroon ng mas maayos na mga datos tungkol sa tunay na kalagayan ng mga komunidad, isinabatas ang Republic Act No. 11315 o ang Cbms Act. Mula sa pangunguna ng Philippine Statistics Authority, ang CBMS ay aarangkada na ngayong Agosto 2022 sa mahigit kumulang na 600 lokal na pamahalaan sa Luzon, sa Visayas, at sa Mindanao. Tara na! Tayo na! At mag-CBMS na! Sa CBMS, tayo ay mangungulekta ng mga impormasyon pang sambahayan. Ang mga ito ay patungkol sa household composition, health, food consumption, house, water and sanitation, basic education and literacy, income, employment, peace and order, at participation. Gayon din ang impormasyon ng mga government projects, service facilities, at natural resources. Sa CBMS, tayo ay magpapatibay ng mga technical skills through various capacity building initiatives sa ating mga lokal na pamahalaan. Ito ay upang makatugon sa data collection, pagpoproseso at pag-aanalisa ng mga datos, pagpresenta at wastong paggamit ng CBMS data. Sa CBMS, tayo ay susubaybay sa mga government projects, partikular sa mga progreso ng pagsasagawa nito tulad ng mga daan, tulay, mga paaralan, ospital, at iba pang mga pasilidad. Sa CBMS, tayo ay makakapaglingkod sa ating kapwa Pilipino, simpleng pagsagot sa mga katanungan sa araw na pag-i-interview sa inyong mga tahanan. Voluntary at pinakailangan ng konsep ang pagpapa-interview, ngunit malaki ang pakinabang ng inyong pagsagot para sa mas kumpletong datos. Ang mga statistics na kukuha mula dito ay mahalagang basehan upang matukoy ang mga tamang programa at makagawa ng mga tamang polisiya. Bukod dito, ang mga impormasyon na makukuha ay magsisilbing registries o talaan upang matukoy ang mga tamang beneficiaries ng mga social protection programs. Makilahok sa CBMS. May mga data collectors at sa inyong mga tahanan upang isagawa ang interview sa responsabeng miyembro ng sambahayan. Sagutin ng tapat at totoo ang lahat ng mga katanungan para sa interview. Huwag mag-alala sa mga impormasyong ibigay sa mga data collectors. Sigurado na inyong mga impormasyon nasa maayos na pangangalaga. Ang lahat ng sambahayan ay inaanyayahan na makilahok sa CBMS. Kaya simula ngayong Agosto, sama-sama tayong maglalakay tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng ating mga pamayanan. Swak na datos para sa komunidad na mas maayos. CBMS, para sa atin to.
Okay. At this point in time, let us listen to the message of support of Director Felix Tabanao, the Regional Director of Department of Information and Communications Technologies. Sir?
Unang-una, nais ko kayong batiin. Good afternoon. Magandang hapon sa lahat. For on-site and online participants, I am a Cebuano, so I could hardly speak Waray. Anyway, unang-una, I would like to greet uh, Ma'am Wilma Perante, Ma'am, the Regional Director of PSA Region 8. Of course, our partner from NEDA Region 8, uh, Director Rosales, was represented by Ma'am Jocelyn Francis, Ma'am. Good afternoon. And also from the ILG, another partner with Director Escobar. Online siya, Ma'am. Yes, coming siya, sir. And all our media partners from PIA, Ma'am Jima, all PIA staff, and all PSA officials, maayong hapon. Let me also introduce my partner from the ICT, our Chief of Technical and Operations Division, Engineer Dante Rosales. Okay. So anyway, I have here a prepared message and allow me to read this message. Thank you for having me here today to witness and celebrate with you the 2022 CBMS Praise Lunch. Our presence here today strongly manifests our commitment to bring a brighter future to the Filipino community with the data being collected and validated using the community based monitoring system. Congratulations to our partner PSA, Ma'am, for taking up the challenge and committing to work together to fulfill everyone's dream for a better life. Through the CBMS, validated data are provided which enable communities to take part in the process. While these data are being validated and utilized for local planning, program implementation, and effect monitoring, I am impressed by the effort in developing this organized based system of collecting, processing, and validating the necessary disaggregated data. This can continuously be improved, especially as the information technology continues to advance. I find it amazing how many different sectors have worked together on this rollout, including the media, the educational institutions, the local government entities, civil society, private industry, and even individual who are community advocates. As a group, we are stronger. As the numbers increase, more and more efforts and initiatives are being put forth to realize the goal of creating a system for data collection, data sharing, and information management that respects the human right to the privacy as a fundamental right, ensures the data quality, and upholds the principles of legitimate purpose, transparency, and proportionately, among other data protection principles, and designs appropriate policies and intervention. The actual task of completing what we have set out to do lies beyond today. How much optimism this might give the Filipino community is something we have heard. Never should we disappoint. Additionally, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, Region 8, will continuously support along the way. The DICT also acknowledges the importance of securing comprehensive community-based data as this will be useful for a more accurate and reflective to what really happening on the ground. In effect, our government, especially the lawmaking and the policy-making body, as well as the appropriate executive government institutions, could effectively address the prevailing social issues. Once again, in behalf of the ICT management, both in the central office and the regional office, express our strong and full support for all the initiatives and efforts of the PSE during today's 2022 CBMS Press Lunch. Mabuhay ang CBMS National Press Launching. Good afternoon once again.
Thank you so much, Director Tabanaw. Another message of support to the PSA's CBMS will be given by the Regional Director of the Department of the Interior and Local Government, Attorney Arnaldo Escobar. Sir.
Thank you, Director. Pleasant good afternoon to one and all, most especially to our CBMS Council member agencies, partner institutions, and focal persons. Today marks a very important event as we officially declare the nationwide rollout of the PSA-led community-based monitoring system that will operationalize in selected cities and municipalities across the country. The community-based monitoring system is being institutionalized in every city and municipality to assist in collecting, processing, and validating data that the local government units can use for their formulation and implementation of alleviation and development programs, which are specific, targeted, and responsive to the basic needs of each sector of the community. We have always emphasized the importance of developing a responsive and evidence-based plans, projects, and programs of the LGUs for their respective communities. The CBMS is a very important and useful tool if utilized effectively, as it will lessen wasted money on projects and programs that do not answer to the needs of the community. The DILG Regional Office 8 enjoins all LGUs implement and adopt this system and comply with the various CBMS activities. The PSA and DILG pool of trainers and focal persons are with you all the way, ready to assist and ensure that all cities and municipalities are well capacitated. We hope that all parties involved will do their best to deliver their responsibility communities. Congratulations to PSA and damo nga salamat sa inyo.
Thank you so much, Director Escobar. This time, we'll now come to the open forum. May we first acknowledge the presence of our media partners and the information center managers of the different provincial offices of the Philippine Information Agency Region 8. For our first question, this will come from Mr. Ronnie Yanwario of the Magic FM. Ronnie?
A pleasant afternoon po. Once again, I am Ronnie Yanwario from Magic FM Tacloban. At the same time, Sunday Punch and Balita Ocho, a local newspaper. Allow me to ask these questions kung sino po pa even siguro si Director Wilma Perante. Regarding kasi nitong PBMS, CBMS, medyo naguguluhan po ako. Siguro dahil na rin sa kanina sa pagsasalita po ni Secretary, the same time sa information natin kanina, medyo hindi klaro. So gusto ko itanong ito kasi alam po natin at alam po rin ng media na mayroon po tinatawag na listahanan. Itong listahanan po is halos kapareho po ng CBMS and this is under po ng DSWD. Anong pinagkaibahan nitong dalawa at sino ba talaga magiging legit the listahanan ng DSWD or the CBMS ng PCSA? Thank you and good afternoon.
Okay, salamat sa tanong, Sir. Bali, ganito yung mangyayari no, for the community-based monitoring system. One of the expected outputs from CBMS ay yung targeted beneficiaries. So, sa ngayon, bali, a database will be established in the respective cities and municipalities wherein in the future, once makompleto, kasi methodology sa ngayon, bali selected cities and municipalities ang nag-join. As mentioned in my welcome message, out of 143 cities and municipalities in Region 8, bali 90 ang magjo-join pa lang no, sa ating CBMS. So, however, for those cities and municipalities who will have 100%, ibig sabihin, magsisensus. Census in a sense that all barangays, all households will be covered. So ultimately, one of the expected outputs from CBMS is the list of program beneficiaries. So, bali, kung ano yan, kung makokompleto na, kasi sa ngayon, even the national, hindi pa rin kompleto. It's not all the LGUs are joining the CBMS. So, magkakaroon ng national government, it's up to the national government later kung ano man yung magiging resulta ng CBMS, kung ano ang mangyayari sa mga listahanan. Like for example, yung DSWD in terms of the listahanan that they are maintaining. So yun yung ating future na undertaking in terms of the result of the CBMS.
Okay, so follow-up question na lang po. Alam naman po natin ngayon na naging talk of the town, talk of the city ang listahanan ng DSWD. It's because napupolitika, nagiging palakasan po mula po sa below, sa barangay, hanggang sa LGU at hanggang sa region at provincial level na rin. So, hindi ba ito magiging ganun mangyayari sa PSA, sa CBMS? Alam po natin naman na masyadong nagiging involved na rin po ang mga politiko at saka palakasan na loob po nitong ginagawa po natin sa listahan po ng DSWD. Thank you and again, salamat po.
Okay, let me emphasize on the methodology that we are employing in sa CBMS, no? 100% tayo. Census, ibig sabihin, although in some municipalities, mayroon tayong sinasabing sampling in terms of barangays in a municipality. However, if that barangay or barangays will be selected as samples, then all households in that barangay will be covered. So wala siyang sinasabi na selection ng mga households to be interviewed. So if that barangay will be sampled, lahat ng mga households in that barangay will be covered. So talagang mako-cover natin at may interview natin based on the standard natin na questionnaires na mayroon tayong ginagamit, no? Na nag-undergo ng screening and ensuring that we comply with the classification standards. So, standard yung ating uh, concepts na ginagamit. We have a uniform questionnaires. We have a uniform manual of instructions that we are deploying at we are utilizing. At saka yung ating questionnaires talaga dumaan sa ating survey clearance na talagang na even the methodology of the collection were reviewed. No? So we follow the standards in terms of data collection. Wala tayong sinasabing walang mahirap at mayaman. There are later in the results of the indicators that will be generated. In fact, sinabi ko kanina, based on the information that we will be getting, one of the indicators, actually, ang talaga ang purpose is to determine the target beneficiaries and to ensure the poverty statistics, no? And one of the outputs or indicators that we will be generating is the multidimensional poverty index na nandoon yung education, yung ating living standards, no? So, yung ating health. So, hindi pa natin ngayon makikita yon kasi we will still be collecting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Ron. Thank you, Ma'am Wilma. Next question, Sylvia of PRTV 12.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to ask, we know for a fact na kilala na po yung census. Gusto po naming malaman, how does it differ from census and CBMS? Ganun pa din po yung itatanong. Kasi para po sa amin, kilala na po yung census. Parang ano naman tong CBMS?
Thank you, Ma'am Silv, sa tanong. No? Naka-address yun sa akin. Okay. So, there are 18 sections in the questionnaire. So, if you look at kung hindi niyo ito mapapansin kung tablet yung gagamitin, no? So ganito kakapal po yung ating questionnaire, no, for the household profile questionnaire. So ang census, mayroon tayong listing din, so ganun din sa CBMS, and then we also have a household questionnaire. But this one is, if you look at, marami siyang pages, no? So alam nyo yung census. So pagdating sa CBMS, aside from the demographic characteristics, malami tayong tanong. Kasi 18 sections siya. Meron siyang migration, meron siyang education and literacy, meron siyang communication and political participation, economic characteristics, entrepreneurial activities. So, yung kagandahan dito is we're looking at also the income of the household, no? As well as also yung information related to health, food security, at saka yung digital economy, crime, victimization, yung government programs, kasama yung water and sanitation. These are questions na kasama sa CBMS. So ito ay ibang-iba doon sa ating regular na kinakandak na Census of Population and Housing. Although may housing din sa Census of Population and Housing, may household characteristics, but more questions are being asked pagdating sa CBMS. Kasi nga, we look at the poverty natin yung sa status ng ating household.
So, doon po sa household natin, ma'am, do you think magkakaroon po tayo ng parang cooperation? Kasi, di ba pag ang daming tinatanong, sinasabi agad ng household member na, ay naku, ayaw kita ito, damo trabahoon. Things like that.
Ma'am Shit, salamat talaga sa pagtanong mo. Kaya nandito kami ngayon. Ang kasama natin yung media partners natin at saka yung development partners natin na lahat po sana ay magbigay ng oras at panahon para mabigyan, no, ng tamang datos yung ating CBMS. So, sinasabi kanina doon sa ating video presentation na although this is voluntary and we get consent from the respondent, but alam natin kung gaano kahalaga yung gaano kaimportante yung CBMS para sa tamang programa ng gobyerno. So I also very confident with your help and help PSA to disseminate sa ating mga citizens na mag-join at magbigay ng tamang impormasyon for CBMS. what if mag-decline yung kami ay makulit? No, ano naman, I believe, no, with the proper explanation to the respondent so far, alam namin na nandyan, katulong natin yung publiko. And also, this is one way also of ensuring at telling the public kung gaano kaimportante at kahalagahan ng ating citizens. So, we do not anticipate refusal pagdating sa CBMS kasi alam namin na magkakaintindihan tayo through this press release and through this press launch. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Ms. Sylvia. Sarul Minyano of the Philippine News Agency for the next question.
My question to RD Perante, ma'am. So, since CBMS halos lahat na nandito na, yung ano, ma'am. So, itutuloy pa rin ba yung labor force survey, yung GRDP, yung mga regular census ng PSA and other government agencies?
Salamat, Sir Sarwell, no, for that question. So, ganito ang mangyayari. If under the law, Republic Act 11315, sinasabi na ang CBMS is to be conducted every 3 years. So mayroon tayong need pagdating sa mga programs, ensuring na ano ba yung nangyayari sa ating ekonomiya na. So we have this inflation rate, we have the consumer price index, which we conduct monthly, which is different from in the CBMS. So you've mentioned about employment, kasi may tanong din about employment characteristics of the household in the CBMS. Yung ating employment is we look at the quarterly status of the employment in the country as well as in the province. So which is very helpful in case may mga disaster, may mga kalamidad, or in terms normal yung situation, ano ba yung nangyayari in terms of the employment characteristics of the population in a certain area. So which is, ang reference period is different ng ating mga surveys from the CBMS.
Ma'am, bakit 90 LGUs pa lang? Bakit yung iba hindi pa?
Alam natin, no, because of the budget requirements that the LGUs are needing. So we understand na hindi nila ito nabigyan ng enough funds. Although they have funds, but they have limited funds to cover the required number of samples or respondents to come up with a reliable estimates, pag-sample lang, or a reliable results from the CBMS. So, dito sa Region 8, 90 lang out of 140. And we, with the help of our development partners, nandito yung DILG, as mentioned kanina ni attorney, na they're also pushing that next round of the CBMS, all LGUs will be joining, really to come up with a complete national database of the CBMS.
One more question to DILG, sir. May memorandum circular ba to all LGUs to comply with this CBMS?
Hello. Meron po kaming joint memo circular dated 11 May 2022 regarding the implementation guidelines ng CBMS sa targeted nationwide rollout this year. And ako naman po sa regional level, we will issue the needed memo circular para po sa ating remaining LGUs. Kami naman sa DILG actually, we have been advocating this CBMS even before that this was being led by the PSA. So napakaganda kasi ng CBMS kasi yung data nito ay community-based nga po at may mga mukha po yung numero. Meaning, alam natin kung sino yung family na may ganitong income. Alam natin kung sino yung head of the family doon. Alam natin kung sino ang PWD doon. At 0 to 11 years old na nangailangan ng services ng munisipyo. Kaya very important yung CBMS data na maganda din yung pagkakagawa. Meaning, totoo, verified, and okay yung data. Kasi it will really help the LGUs design the appropriate program and project doon sa targeted natin na mga beneficiaries ng programa ng gobyerno. And because we are institutionalizing this system, matutulungan yung national government agencies na makuha yung data doon sa LGU para naman sa programa ng ating national government. Kasi yung dating CBMS na locally initiated, meaning mga LGUs yung nag-adapt, nasa kanila yung data. So hinihingi pa natin doon sa mga LGUs kung ano yung data meron sila. Kaya with this system na nationalized na siya, and nagkaroon tayo ng partnership with the PSA, o magkakaroon po na ang national government ng national data para sa mga intended beneficiaries sa mga programs ng lahat ng national government agencies. So maganda po yung ganun ang sistema. So we really advocate this CBMS sa mga LGUs na hindi pa nakakapag-enroll ay mag-enroll na po tayo. Meron tayong additional fund sa mga LGUs na dahil sa Mandanas Garcia ruling, and I hope they will be able to find some source or portion of those fund to fund activities that are needing this kind of initiative sa CBMS. So kakalampagin natin ang mga LGUs na this year mas maraming LGUs ang sumama, mas maganda, better for the national government agency. Merong mga programa sa localities.
Thank you, Sir Well. Next question, Elmer Recuerdo of Tribune.
Good afternoon. Itong yung CBMS is not something new. Parang I have been hearing about it since right after Yolanda. Parang there were agencies that as part of their support, ano sila ng mga CBMS, like in the case of Alang-Alang. And the way Attorney Escobar described the CBMS, parang yun ang na-imagine ko, which apparently is different from how it will be implemented for the PSA. Parang ganun ba? Parang kasi sa CBMS, parang ano talaga, very detailed to the sa family level, like sino ang may sakit, anong klase mga sakit, ano yung ilang hayop meron sila, ilang kalabaw, ilang ano, which I don't think is ganoon din ka in-depth sa sa PSA.
Address to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, sir. Thank you. Bali, ang under Republic Act 11315 as provided in the law, ang PSA is the lead agency in the implementation of CBMS. We all know that CBMS, if you look at the history of CBMS, nag-start ito ng actually part ito ng 1990s pa, no? Yung CBMS. And then there was since 2000, yung CBMS natin was adopted by LGUs through the various issuances of DILG, no, from DILG. But under the Republic Act 11315, nagkaroon tayo ng provision in the law na talagang ang lead agency is PSA. So how it differs from yung ating questions from the old, we called it old CBMS. So maraming tanong pa ang kinuha. So some questions were adapted from the old CBMS and more comprehensive yung ating ngayon PSA-led kasi nga we really wanted, the purpose is really to target the beneficiaries for the programs of the local government units as well as also yung ating government. So kaya ultimately we need to come up with a database na magagamit din sa local planning ng cities and municipalities as well as also sa part of the National CBMS Data Bank na magkaroon din tayo. So kaya mas marami siyang tanong and standardized na din, and we adapted also the standard concepts and definitions in the questions na ginamit natin sa ngayon.
Follow-up question?
Yes. Paano po yung paano siya magagamit yung data na makukulate ng LGU? Will there be like a website where all the data will be uploaded so that the LGU will be able to access it and be able to use it for an evidence-based planning sa municipal level?
Ang plan for CBMS sa ngayon, even if it's LGU funded, the data files will be, or the files that will be collected, or the information that will be collected will have still to undergo data validation sa PSA, being the lead agency. And once this has been cleared by PSA, it will be ibibigay back to the LGU for them to maintain for the database, because LGU will be the one who will be owning the data on the CBMS. And then may data sharing tayo, so CBMS LGUs will be providing PSA their data to come up with a national CBMS data bank. So ngayon, dadaan lang muna siya sa ang kaibahan lang sa ngayon ng PSA-led, kasi yung data na makokolekta or information from the LGUs ay dadaan muna for data validation dito sa PSA, being the lead agency.
Salamat, Elmer.
One more last one. Sorry.
Okay, huling hirit.
Huling hirit. Yung sa ano, yung isa DICT pala, paano yung ano, paano ang participation nito sa whole thing? Tsaka later pala sa DILG, gusto ko rin itanong kung eventually in the future, will this be yung data used for the SGLG, for example, or how we're going to give a premium to participating LGUs so that they will be encouraged?
Thank you for that question, sir. On the part of the ICT, being an ICT department of our national government, the role here of the ICT is to provide technical assistance in the assistance and support in the development and maintenance of the CBMS portal, as well as the CBMS data bank. That's the role of the DICT.
Okay, thank you. Okay, rejoinder daw from DILG.
Oo, isang question, dinamay pa ang DILG. Anyway, thank you sir for that question. Sa DILG naman, itong CBMS tool ay importante talaga. So we really have to recognize the LGUs that are using this tool in their development planning processes. Kasi yun nga, ang ini-encourage natin sila na lahat ng policy making nila, decision, lalong-lalo na in implementing programs and projects, dapat nakatungo talaga doon sa nangangailangan. Merong mga mukha talaga sila. So sa tamang beneficiaryo pupunta yung mga projects and programs. So we encourage them. So part of our assessment na these tools in their development planning strategy are dapat meron ang ating mga LG.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Elmer. Next question will come from Evelyn Bacol of ATV24.
Good afternoon. This question is, maybe this is just a follow-up to those questions a while ago. Now, my question is, had the gathering of data of CVMS have started already? And how does it, how far have you gone for, and how the challenges?
As mentioned ko kanina, no, start off natin is today, August 8, yung ating data collection pagdating sa household profile. But we started yung ating barangay profile na nag-training kami ng aming barangay officials, and they submitted the information related to the barangay profile through web. So through web yung kanilang submission. Baka kasi, kung maalala nyo, we also had a pilot area sa city of Baybay. That was in 2021.
So bale, yun yung pilot natin, which is different from now, no? So ang talagang rollout for the 2022 na CBMS, kasi nagkaroon tayo ng pilot to test the questions. Kung ito ba ay makukuha natin ng tama, and then ano ba yung ating mga challenges that we will be facing in the future, ano ba yung pwede nating ma-improve. So nagkaroon tayo ng pilot. That was last year. So that was bye-bye, no, ang ating sample. So but for the rollout for 2022, nag-umpisa pa lang po ngayong araw na ito. So for the challenges, yung ating usual, no, na mga challenges na experience pagdating sa operation. Actually, yung isa kanina na mention na regarding refusal, but with the help of the media and with this press launch natin na ginagawa and road show na gagawin ng mga provinces and the LGUs na ma-disseminate widely yung ating CBMS ay ma-minimize yung ating isa sa mga problema pagdating sa surveys natin. Lahat kahit surveys natin, we have this refusal. And other challenge ngayon is that alam ko tag-ulan na. Usual is the weather condition na sana hindi siya maging malala kasi we always face yung ating weather condition pagdating sa data collection. Pagdating naman sa mga areas or mga barangays na difficult to reach kasi pag sinabing 100%, lalo na pag mga municipalities na 100% on coverage, we have this CBMS coordinating boards sa mga municipalities wherein our mayors are also the chairperson. With their assistance, no, of the LGUs, yung mga ating mga malalayong lugar, we always ensure na mapupuntahan with the help of the members of the board, yung ating mga local government units officials and also officials ng mga barangay to ensure na mako-cover natin yung mga malalayong barangays, especially yung difficult to reach at saka yung mga island barangays.
For emphasis also, who are the beneficiaries?
Wala pa. Kasi it depende on the program. For example, kasi later siguro, kung for example an LGU would like to target ano yung mga programa pagdating sa vaccination. So yun yung makukuha nila yon. For example, yung mga target beneficiaries pagdating sa 4Ps, later na yon. So wala pa tayo ngayon. So depende sa programa ng gobyerno yung mai-implement later on the result of the CBMS. Ma'am
Thank you,
Evelyn.
Evelyn. Next, Justin Traya of RMN.
Good afternoon po. Na-mention po kanina na only 90 LGUs participated in CBMS. Ilan po talaga, ma'am, yung budget po para makaparticipate yung isang LGU po? Yan lang po.
Pera talaga. Joke lang. Bale, ganito yon, no? Mayroon tayong two sets of group of LGUs. Yung 90, mayroon tayong 60 out of that ay yung PSA funded na 6th and 5th class, income class municipalities. And then ito naman yung 30. So mayroon tayong sinasabing a guide na which we develop ng PSA to determine the budget. So we called it CBMS budget calculator. So yun yung ginagamit. So mayroon siyang assumptions. For example, for a conduct of training for 7 days, and then ito yung assumption like we have for the food, lunch and snacks. So mayroon siya doon. And then for the wage, so hindi siya yung pare-pareho na ibig sabihin, ako yung LGU 1, ito yung budget ko. So mayroon tayo kung ano yung kaya ng LGUs para ma-ensure na mako-cover din natin with quality din yung data. So kinukuha yon at nakikita yon based on the assumption doon sa CBMS budget calculator. Ganon din yung ating PSA funded. So these funds come from the central office. So it is being downloaded to PSA. And PSA, for PSA funded, the municipalities and LGUs involved, we will be the one to pay everything. So yun yung Yun, and that is the basis of the calculation done by our central office. So ganun po yung downloading po pagdating sa budget. Sa LGU naman, as mentioned nga kanina ni attorney, sabi nila na kaya yung iba nakapag-join kasi nga they were able to make habol on the supplemental budget because of the Mandana's ruling, no, na pwede silang kumuha for the CBMS. So kaya as guidance to them how much they will be needing, they have to use the CBMS budget calculator.
Thank you,
Okay.
Joss. Ruel, my question. Will Amasona of the Philippine Star and Eastern Lady Summer Daily Express.
Latest Summer Daily Express, PNA and CNN Philippines. May ako makasuhan. Anyway, okay. Ma'am, ano lang, yung question ko lang po is, ha? Kaya may camera ngayon? Pasensya. Ang question ko lang, ma'am, is timeline po ng ng pag-conduct ng CVMS. And, kasi, like this, in relation sa question kanina ni Sylvia, paano natin siguro na doon sa mga tao na magkakandak ng survey, yung palatandaan at sila talaga ay yung mga naatasan ng PSA to conduct survey. Kasi para hindi po mag-alangan yung mga household people natin na tanggapin sila, sumagot sa mga itatanong.
Well, thank you, Sir Noel. Tama ba? Roel,
Roel.
Sir Roel. Okay, let me clarify muna, no? First is, mayroon related dun sa first question mo na timeline. So, mayroon tayong, as mentioned ko kanina, 90 LGUs. And then, doon sa 90 may 60 tayo. But, yung 60 natin, mayroon tayong August, starting today, August 8. And then mayroon din tayong mga another batch, second batch, we called it for the 2022 rollout. Mayroon tayong mga LGUs na mag-start ngayong October. So, for October, LGU funded, kasi ito yung medyo na delay ng konti, yung kanilang confirmation and the submission of the requirements. So, instead of joining us ngayong August, doon na sila sa October. So, out of the 30 natin na LGUs or cities and municipalities, there will be 16 who will be joining in the second batch, which will be, yung ating enumeration will be done in October. So, in terms of the timeline, as mentioned ko kanina, yung ating timeline, as mentioned, ang ating ngayon for the first batch, no, about 52 for Mondays ang kailangan natin. So for every isang enumerator, so yun yung kakainin niyang Mondays in terms of the enumeration to come up with a minimum number of enumerators. So meron tayong data collection August 8 to October 6 for the first batch. And then for the second batch, yung ating data collection will start on the this will October. Ang ating enumeration pagdating sa second batch is October. Let me have yung ating second batch. For second batch, sorry ha, for October, October 6. So immediately after that, we will start our second batch then sa October, yung ating second batch naman. So 54 days siya. So that will come October 17 to December 16 naman siya, yung ating second batch. So we'll start tayo, kung mag-end tayo ng data collection October 6 for the first batch, hopefully matapos natin. And then yung ating naman second batch, October 17 to December 16 naman yung ating second batch for data collection. So, paano natin may ensure, no? Kasi as mentioned ko kanina, mayroon tayong PSA funded. So sa PSA funded, they are being identified meron silang PSA ID, no identification. So we also ensure them that they have all the necessary letter of introduction. Tapos may mga questionnaires kami talaga na talagang may tatak na PSA. So pagdating naman sa LGU funded, of course, they will be introducing themselves as LGU employees. So mayroon din yun sila identification na they are employed, authorized personnel to conduct CBMS sa kanilang respective LGU or city or municipal. So kailangan alamin lang natin. And then actually, we have this, they can verify talagang totoo siya, authorized siya, somebody from our office or from the LGU. They can refer the person kung talaga ba siya ay authorized person to collect data regarding dun sa ating CBMS undertaking. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you, Will, of the latest Summer Daily Express. Next, Nelson Braga of ATV24.
Good noon. I-address ko lang kay ma'am. Alam mo, maganda itong CBMS kasi update ito sa mga sa mga data gathering. Mas advantage kaya ito dun sa unang LGU na makakapag-launch ng kanilang mga information nila, tapos sa pagkuha nila ng budget para hindi sila maggahol sa fund nila sa LGU. Kasi dapat una sila mag sa inyo para mabigyan nyo ng information. Halimbawa, kukuha sila ng mga empleyado galing sa LGU, mag-hire sila mga bago na mga nagano ng mga sa mga bahay-bahay, tapos ititrain na lang sa inyo ganon yung dapat na yung sistema ganon na kung halimbawa ma'am yung halimbawa sa Samar mag-gather sila ng mga technical staff nila para yung funded nila hindi maapektuhan yung sa pagano ng mandana. Tapos na lang, ibibigay na lang sa inyo yung mga nila na mga information. Tapos ibabalidate na lang para diretso na pag-monitor.
We have standards to follow in terms of data collection and also training. So kung makikita natin doon sa one of the objectives of CBMS is also capacity building of our personnel sa LGUs and to ensure na they would understand the concepts that we are adapting for CBMS. So, ano ba yung, sabi mo, ang tanong mo, ano yung magiging advantage for those LGUs na mauuna? Tama ba akong aking pagkaintindi, di ba? So, for now, yung mga PSA funded na 6th and 5th income class, mauuna pagdating sa establishing data bank in the respective LGUs. At mauuna din sila at nauuna sila pagdating sa capability building of those who are involved in the data collection for CBMS. And what is good, yung mga nauuna, kasi later, pag mag-second batch na naman another round for the CBMS or think para sa LGU, kailangan namin ng yearly. So, they would be able to determine how much budget they will be needing for the next round of budget preparation. Kasi mayroon na silang knowledge as to how much it would require to conduct CBMS. So, mauuna sila sa information and they can immediately use for their local planning pag mayroon silang CBMS. So, if they have target programs that would really wanted to target beneficiaries, they can use na the results of the CBMS. Kasi yun yung data gaps natin na pagdating sa PSA, we cannot use our data kasi up to the domain is provincial level lang. So municipal, hindi namin magamit kasi provincial data yung mayroon lang. So now, in terms of the data gaps, magagamit na nila kasi mayroon na silang CBMS pagdating sa municipality or city.
Follow up lang ma'am. Kasi mayroon kasi nakausap ako na gustong-gusto nila ito, although malalayo sila na municipality. Kasi kulang sila sa access nung yung mga data. Yung gusto nga nila na yung pupunta sila tapos yung mga gathered, kayo na lang ang yung bibigyan nyo ng mga training kung anong tama ba itong mga information na itatanong nila doon sa kanilang community. Tapos hindi sila gagahulin sa panahon na pagdating ng baka abutan sila ng next year kasi maano na yung pandid nila doon sa Mandanas.
For those LGUs na who really wanted to join or implement CBMS, no, they have to comply the requirements being asked by PSA kasi dapat mayroon silang commitment, and then the availability of funds to ensure na talagang makukumpleto natin yung ating mga barangays to be covered, to ensure the reliability of the results. So kasi mayroon tayong if they would opt na because of the limited funds, they will opt to have sampling lang, and ang ano lang nito is pag sampling, ang indicators will come up with a statistical methodology that would estimates for some indicators. Kaya lang ang magiging challenge lang doon, if they really wanted to have a listahanan, yun yung limitation doon kasi hindi tayo census or 100% coverage of the barangays. So yun yung magiging challenge pagdating sa LGU if they have limited funds. But for planning, they can already, if they have limited funds, they just have to comply the requirements set by PSA. Kaya lang, for now, nag-deadline na kami for this round. So baka if they opt to have it in next year or another round for CBMS for the preparation for another 3 years, that will be 2025, they can already start. Kasi yung budget naman, years ahead, di ba sir? Bali kung 2023 natin na budget, 2022, actually 2024, they already have to submit. I'm not sure of the LGU, but they can have supplemental budget for the following year. But kami for NGA, we prepared 2 years in advance, no? And we got an approval from DBM. So, ang mangyayari nun, if they really wanted to implement CBMS, they can write a PSA para mag-guidan, they can be guided on how much they will be needing. We can train them and we can provide technical assistance. And also, kasi we provide we will be the one to train their enumerators for the data collectors. So bali, it will be PSA who will be leading. And of course, with the assistance of the LGUs, yung mga supervisors nila and who will handle the CBMS sa kanila pagdating sa operation. So they just have to express their interest if they would like to implement CBMS. So we encourage actually yung other. But the next round baka gusto na nila, they can already plan as early as now po. Okay, thank you, sir.
Salamat, Nelson. For our last 2 questions, this will come from the provincial managers.
Narinig po ba ako?
Louder, please.
Okay, so my question is on what do you call this, the veracity and accuracy of data. It is stated. Wait lang po ha. Okay, how will I do it? Okay, so narinig na po ba ako? Is it
Okay po, go ahead.
clear na po ba? Yeah. So my question is on RA 1115, nag-e-echo po. Hello po. Okay. So sa RA 11315, nakasulat po doon na voluntary yung pagbibigay ng information, and anybody can refuse to answer any question or reveal any information at any point. So ano po yung may
So, disconnected yata si Miss Golda. Punta tayo muna kay Sir Bong of PIE Southern Leyte.
Yes, Jim. Yes, can I be heard? Jim, I hear you loud and clear. How about on my side? Okay, magandang hapon sa ating mga guests sa PSA, sa DILG at saka DICT. Itong tanong ko ay para lang yata sa taga PSA. Mabalik ako ma'am sa yung kanina, the first question talaga, yung tungkol sa listahanan. Kasi aside from listahanan, meron din sa mga fisher folks, farmers, yung tinatawag na registry system for basic sectors in agriculture. Now, kung for example, merong conflict of figures, so, who will prevail? Sino mag-prevail? Ang ito bang sa CBMS or ang nandiyan na, existing na nalista ng mga LGUs? I understand this data will be used next year, 2023. And these are sensitive data kasi yung mga magsasaka, mga mangingisda, concerned na sila. Lahat na yata ng benefits ngayon papunta sa kanila. Lalo na yung naka-register. Problema kung si Juan nandyan sa LGU list, at is BSA listed pero wala pala siya doon sa CBMS. So may conflict na. Paano ito ma-resolve, Ma'am Perante?
As mentioned po kanina doon sa ating objective is we really target our existing mga listahanan, magiging status quo muna yan. So whatever is the result of the national agencies, later kung ano man yung mangyayari, that will be resolved by the implementing agencies once there will be results of the CBMS po.
Anyway, it's good to know kasi yun lang muna i-clarify ko.
Nagkaroon ng iba ang results ng mga listahanan that will come out from the CBMS kasi iba din yung reference natin, iba din yung scope. So kung ano man yung mangyayari, decision ng national government and implementing agencies, that will be for future natin na expectation from the results from the CBMS po.
Okay, thank you ma'am. Yung pangalawang tanong ko ay somehow na-responded na along the line. Kasi data ang pinag-uusapan nito. And we know that data is dynamic. It's changing almost every day. Lalo na ngayon, fast turnover of data. Sinabi mo na kanina na every 3 years pala itong CBMS, at least may timeline. Kasi baka ang CBMS na gagamitin ngayon will not be practical anymore in the next year or next 2 years. So at least it's good to know na may limitation pala itong CBMS na this is good only for 3 years. Parang sinasabay lang yata ang term ng mga officials natin. Yun lang. Okay, Jim. Balik sa'yo, Jim.
Nagkataon lang na bagong administration, but let me emphasize, for the LGU funded, mayroon tayong mga LGUs, they can decide kung talaga need nila for an updating and they can afford to conduct in between 3 years, they can do that po, provided they have the budget. But under the law, sinasabi natin na ang mga cities and municipalities will have CBMS every 3 years. Po yung mga LGUs na kaya po nila mag-fund ng ating CBMS activities po.
Yes. Jim, let me just have a rejoinder kasi nangyari kasi yung audit at saka yung DBM naghihingi ng mga data dito sa mga LGUs. Yung latest data ang kinukuha nila. So, meron na yatang practical use itong mga data na gagamitin natin. So, kailangan talaga ang updating if need be every now and then. So, thank you, Ma'am Perante. Back to you, Jim.
Have their conduct in between 3 years po for as long as they have budget for CBMS. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much, Sir Bong Pedalino of PI Southern Leyte. So for our last but not the least question, balikan po natin si Ma'am Golda Mir Tabao ng PI Samar.
Hello po, good afternoon again. So my question po is, di ba po it was mentioned in RA 11315 that voluntary po yung pagbibigay ng information at any given point they can refuse to give an answer or reveal any information. So what will happen po to the information na naibigay na? Will it affect the survey or the CBMS po natin, the data gathering po natin? Gagamitin pa rin po ba ito? And how can we ensure the veracity and accuracy of the information considering as of the moment, we're working on 90 out of 143 LGUs po.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, bali, ganito po yun. Sinasabi natin na yung LGUs, magiging domain po kasi yung city municipality eh. So hindi siya yung province, yung domain. So mangyayari nun, if your city or municipality nag-implement ng CBMS, and census po, ibig sabihin all barangays will be covered, all households will be covered. So 100% po yan siya. And you can come up with a higher degree of data bank and databases pagdating sa inyong city municipality. Pero pag ikaw ay LGU, ay nag-sampling kayo, opted because of the limited funds, you opted to have sampling methodology wherein sample barangays only were covered. So mayroon lang po tayong wala tayong magiging listahanan in that case. So ang mangyayari nun, we will be coming up with indicators through methodology of estimating the indicators kasi sampling lang yung barangays natin. So ang magiging challenge ngayon is that coming up with a listahanan for the province, hindi yan magiging possible pa for the provinces na selected cities and municipalities. Yun yung magiging challenge natin na sana pagdating ng another round, all cities and municipalities will be able to implement CBMS to come up with a higher level of aggregation of data. Kasi sa ngayon, hindi yan kakayanin kasi nga only selected cities and municipalities and coming up with a listahanan of a higher aggregated level, hindi yan magiging possible pa for now. So, yun po yung mangyayari doon sa ating data po. So, in terms of reliability, kung sasabihin natin how reliable is the statistics or indicators that we generate out from this CBMS, kung hindi naman siya lahat ng LGUs. As mentioned ko kanina, yung domain po natin in terms of release of the data, magiging city or municipality po. So ensuring that the sample barangays na na-cover natin, nag-undergo po siya ng proper selection randomly with an estimation of, medyo technical po yung term natin, coefficient of variation to come up with a level of estimation na to ensure na accurate po yung ating estimates na makukuha out from these sample barangays. Ginamitan po yan ng medyo scientific method of selection pagdating sa mga sample barangays naman po. So we can say that the results of the CBMS, even if it's sampling, we can still come up with a reliable, accurate statistics with a minimum coefficient of variation that we are maintaining less than 10% po. Thank you.
Follow-up question, Ms. Golda?
Yes, two questions pa po, please.
Okay, go ahead.
So my other question is for PSA or DICT. If I'm not mistaken, we're using geotagging and web-based tools. So considering that we have a problem with our internet connections, especially in far-flung areas, how do we deal with this problem? I think this has been our problem for quite some time now since we're conducting census every now and then. So on this regard po, how do we intend to work on the certain challenge po that we have?
Offline. So we are using tablets po, and we can use and geotag those households or buildings na kinover natin, and then pagdating niyan, pag-incorporate niyan in our digitized map, later. So gagawin yan sa aming office po. So has the capability, bali yung tablet namin na ginagamit or technology that we are using, we can actually geotag the buildings even if it's online. Tama ako? Yes. Online, even if it's offline, sorry. Even if it's offline. So there is a capability of the system to geotag the buildings even if it's offline. Offline po. The second question?
The second question, Ms. Golda.
So basically po sa mga in relation to the first one po. So basically po yung mga information na natin magagather, we can input po our or we can put it in the system sa office na lang po, not necessarily doon sa area kung saan kinonduct yung CBMS po. Am I correct with that, with my understanding?
Information of that household, no? Kasi kaya naman nilang mag-interview pa din sila using the tablet. So later, if we will be having a database of the buildings and the households that we have interviewed under the CBMS, no, doon sa magiging system in the future ng LGU to get the information, gagawin yan in another process para ma-link yung ating information that we have collected to the buildings that we have geotagged po. So there will be a system and later after the validation, yun yung finally ang makikita nila doon sa mga databases na naka-geotag doon sa ating system na mangyayari in the future po.
Okay, thank you so
Last
much.
question po.
Last question daw.
Apo. So, as to the tabulation and interpretation, nasa PSA po ba ito, yung tabulation and interpretation? And also, when we already have the interpretation of the data, can PSA on its own submit the results or the interpretation to Congress or any LG or whatever policy-making body po to act on the said information or data that we've gathered? So can we do it on, can PSA do it on its own po, or your submission lang po, or kasi repository din yung PSA if I'm not mistaken. So after that po ba, can we do something on from PSA po, or hintay lang po tayo sa policy making bodies po?
Yes, ma'am. Bali ganito ang proseso, no, pagdating sa CBMS. Lahat, even if it's PSA funded, LGU funded, ang mangyayari po, all the data will be submitted to PSA for data validation. Once it's cleared for data validation, so ibabalik po yon to the LGUs because they will be the one who will be owning the data. So they will also be the one who will be maintaining the data. And then LGUs will submit their data through a data sharing agreement and under the CBMS Council, na what under Republic Act 11315, na yung kanilang data can be shared to PSA for the national data bank natin ng CBMS. So ganun po ang mangyayari, ma'am. So talagang LGU po ang magmi-maintain po ng kanilang data. Dadaan lang po sa PSA for further validation po ng kanilang data collected. So yun po yung mangyayari. Hindi po, even if it LGU for now, talagang it will undergo further processing of the data to ensure lang po yung in terms of consistency, mayroon po tayong mga ginagamit na mga validating factors para doon sa data that are being collected, ensuring na walang errors, etc. At saka yung consistency of information. So kaya dadaan po siya sa PSA. But finally, yung ating final output po will be owned by PLGUs. Ibabalik din po yun sa kanila.
Okay. PIE somewhere. I believe everything is clear now. So having no more questions, may we now listen to the closing message of Ms. Giselle Franceseta, UIC Chief Economic Development Specialist of the Policy Formulation and Planning Division of the Authority.
Thank you, Ma'am Gemma. Let me say my greetings first. Good afternoon to Ma'am Wilma, the PSA, Wilma Parante, RD Felix Tabana of DICT, Director Attorney Arnaldo E. Escobar of DILG. all media practitioners here, all PSA, 8 staff here, DICT, NEDA, and DILG staff, good afternoon. Also, I'd like to say virtual good afternoon to the OIC Deputy National Statistician, Minerva Eloisa PSKVS. Good afternoon po, ma'am, and my senpai, Ma'am Pat, in PSA. Okay, and I'd like to say also good afternoon to RD Maylin, who is one of my conscience, the regional director of NEDA. Okay, today is a start. The revamped CBMS is a move towards the direction that we at NEDA would like to take. So congratulations, PSA, for that. As we launch the revitalized CBMS, we look forward to better evidence-based assessment, planning, investment programming, and monitoring of government activities, especially down at the local level. Kumbaga, our LGUs can confidently say, once they have the CBMS results, na we have the resibo. Not only is it a resibo, but it's concrete as well as it is scientific, because it is under PSA. I mean, PSA really tested it out. And I tell you, it's very rigorous, it's comprehensive. Opuan era naging test subject last June. Yes. And today is also a reminder that we, in the public service, should work towards the attainment of our national vision, which is again, matatag, maginhawa, panatag na buhay para sa lahat. That means we have to work towards uplifting the lives of the Filipino people. And one way to do that is through CBMS. Because what Ma'am May always told me, we cannot manage what we cannot measure. And CBMS is one of our comprehensive tools on that. Let the CBMS be an inspiration and encouragement for us to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles and setbacks we may encounter, because CBMS is not new. It was conceived years ago. This time we are lucky. Finally, we're going to launch it scientifically pagod. So, what RD Felix would say, earlier he said that as a group, we are stronger for us, because together we can finally launch CBMS successfully. And finally, today is also a commitment, so I'd like to encourage everyone in this room. We pledge towards the support of the CBMS, towards its successful implementation. So what we need to do first, we have to encourage our family, friends, neighbors. Kung may taga-PSA po nga nasa nga good morning, good afternoon, good evening na lalo at ma'am. Man lang, whole day good itong interview. Please encourage them na please answer the survey. Because that is for all of us. Di relate to masinga, ka ng LGU lito, or ka ng DILG lito, or ka ng PSA lito. It's for all of us. Because as what RD Escobar said earlier, the government programs kasi, some of them are targeted. Now, how will we know who are our target beneficiaries if we're not going to do the CBMS? Consider that one. Our collective actions converge towards the successful CBMS implementation. Again, together we can. And as we cap off today's press launch, allow me to give a toast to the Philippine Statistics Authority, Ma'am Wilma and her team. Congratulations, ma'am. RD Felix Tabanaw, your staff was with us when we did that 1 week training. Also, Sir Escobar, sir, your staff was also with us when we did that 1 week trainings. Congratulations, all PSA, all LGUs, everyone in this room. Again, congratulations, mo pa nga kulo patong tanan. Imagine this is why.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Giselle. So that ends our press launch. On behalf of the Philippine Information Agency, again, I'm Gemma Tabao saying, tara, let's support the CBMS. Mabuhay ang PSA, mabuhay ang Eastern Visayas. So much.